She didn't scream when they pushed her. That's what haunted them later, the silence. The way Emma's body just disappeared over the edge without a sound, like she'd been erased from the world in less than a heartbeat. The three girls stood frozen at the cliff's edge, their laughter dying in their throats, replaced by something cold and sharp that tasted like metal. Emma had always been the invisible one. The girl who sat in the back corner of every classroom, who ate lunch alone with a book pressed close to her face like a shield. She never raised her hand, never spoke unless spoken to, and even then, her voice came out so soft you had to lean in to hear it. Her clothes were always a size too big, hand-me-downs probably, and her dark hair fell across her face like a curtain she could hide behind. The other kids didn't bully her because they hated her. They barely noticed her enough to hate. She was just ... there, easy to ignore, easier to forget. But Madison noticed her. Madison noticed everyone who didn't fit into her carefully constructed world of popularity and power. And on the bus ride to the annual senior class picnic, when Emma accidentally spilled juice on Madison's designer backpack, Madison decided that today, the invisible girl would be seen. The picnic spot was beautiful in a way that felt almost cruel. Tall pines, reaching toward a crystal sky, a lake glittering below like broken glass, and a cliff that jutted out over the water, 20 feet of rock and air between safety and the unknown. Emma had stayed close to the teachers at first, helping to unpack food, volunteering to carry things, anything to stay useful and unnoticed. But Madison had patience. She waited until the adults were distracted, until the crowd had thinned, until it was just her and her two closest friends, Brittany and Jade, standing near the cliff's edge, calling Emma over with sweet voices that dripped with poison. "Emma, come here. You have to see this view." Emma knew better. She'd spent 16 years learning to read the room, to sense danger in a smile, to hear the blade hidden beneath kind words. But when all three of them called her, when other students started looking, when refusing would have caused a scene, she went. Because that's what quiet people do. They avoid the storm by walking into it. Madison's hand felt warm on her shoulder at first, friendly even. "Isn't it beautiful?" she asked, guiding Emma closer to the edge. Emma's heart hammered against her ribs. She could see the water below, dark and cold, the rocks jutting up like broken teeth near the shore. "I can't swim very well," Emma whispered, trying to step back. But Brittany was behind her now, and Jade was on her other side, and Madison's smile had changed into something else entirely. "That's sad," Madison said, her voice flat and cold. "You should really learn." The push wasn't hard. It didn't need to be. One moment Emma was standing on solid ground, and the next there was nothing beneath her feet but air. She didn't scream because her throat had closed, because terror has a way of stealing sound. She fell backward, her arms reaching for something that wasn't there. Her eyes wide and locked on the three faces above her, faces that shifted from cruel satisfaction to sudden, absolute horror. Because someone caught her. Two hands, strong and sure, wrapped around her waist mid-fall and pulled her tight against a chest that felt like it was made of iron. Emma gasped as her back hit something solid, not water, not rock, but a person. They hit the water together in a controlled dive. And even underwater she could feel the arms around her, guiding her, protecting her, pulling her up toward light and air. When they surfaced, Emma was choking and sobbing, but she was alive. The man holding her was in his 40s, lean and weathered, with salt and pepper hair and eyes that looked like they'd seen too much. He swam with her easily toward the shore, his movements efficient and calm, like saving falling teenagers was just another Tuesday for him. "I've got you," he said quietly. "You're safe now." Above, on the cliff, the three girls were screaming for help, their voices shrill with panic. Other students were running toward the edge. Teachers were shouting. But down below, in the shallow water near the rocks, the man helped Emma stand, checked her for injuries with the quick, practiced movements of someone who'd done medical assessments in far worse conditions. "You okay?" he asked, his voice gentle but his eyes sharp, searching her face. Emma nodded, still shaking, still trying to understand what had just happened. Who are you?" "David Harper," he said simply. "Navy SEAL, retired. I was rock climbing on the other side of the cliff." He glanced up toward where the girls were still screaming, and something dark passed across his face. "I saw what they did." The next 20 minutes were chaos. Parents were called. Police arrived. An ambulance checked Emma over while she sat wrapped in someone's jacket, numb and silent as the world exploded around her. Madison, Brittany, and Jade were separated, questioned, their stories falling apart under the weight of witness testimony. Other students had seen the whole thing. One had even filmed it. David Harper sat with Emma while she gave her statement to the police, his presence solid and protective beside her. When the officer asked if she wanted to press charges, Emma looked at the 3 girls huddled with their parents, their faces pale and tear-streaked, and something inside her, something that had been locked away for years, finally spoke. "Yes," she said clearly. "I do." Later, as the sun began to set and the picnic area emptied, David walked Emma to her parents' car. Her mother was crying, holding Emma so tight it hurt, and her father kept shaking David's hand and saying, "Thank you," over and over like a prayer. Before they left, David crouched down to Emma's level and looked her in the eye. "You know what I learned in 20 years of service?" he asked. "The quietest people are usually the strongest. They've already survived battles no one else can see." He smiled, sad and knowing. "Don't let anyone make you small. You survived today. That means something." Emma nodded, her eyes filling with tears for the first time since she'd been pushed. "Thank you," she whispered. "You saved my life." "No," David said gently. "I just caught you. You've been saving yourself every day. Today, you just needed a hand. Silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's wisdom, the wisdom to pick your battles, to protect your peace, to survive another day. But when someone mistakes that silence for permission to hurt, to humiliate, to destroy, they forget that quiet people have voices too. And sometimes, those voices are heard by exactly the right person at exactly the right time. Never underestimate the invisible ones. You never know who's watching. You never know who's waiting to catch them when they fall.